Every day, we strive to preserve traditions that have spanned generations.
Around every turn of the bayou, Mother Nature reveals unique people, places, and experiences.
And the bounty of animals and fish. Well, in Louisiana, we just call that lagniappe. I'm Don Dubuque.
I'm Chris LeCoq.
I'm Captain Martha Spencer. Join us as we document the adventure,
Sportsmanship,
and heritage that make us Bayou Wild. Well, Happy New Year from Southside Cafe in Slidell. We're starting a brand new year and a new season of Bayou Wild TV.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a warm winter, but we're not complaining about it. We're still catching plenty of fish, going out hunting, shooting a few ducks, and going deer hunting too. We've been keeping busy over the last 4 years. We've filmed over 100 episodes, but this time we're throwing it back to numero uno.
Yeah, boy, that was a show too, wasn't it?
I will never forget that trip, nor that experience, nor the snowfall that we saw.
It was close to Christmas, was your birthday weekend.
It was.
At a place called the Sanctuary in Woodville, Mississippi. Wonderful place, but a real special treat with the weather conditions. That snow just made it happen.
It's hard to believe it was so long ago. A few less wrinkles, a few less grays, and a few less animals. That was my very first deer.
Yeah.
And probably the most nervous I've ever felt having to take an animal. And it's crazy to see where we've come since then. So,
yes, it has. And hopefully it'll be a lot more years to go, and we still got a lot more deer to get, some more ducks, plenty of fish to be caught, and a lot of shows to put on it.
So let's throw it back to 2018, Martha's first deer at the Sanctuary in Woodville, Mississippi.
Nestled among stately hardwoods and banks of the Mississippi River sits an escape fit for any outdoor enthusiast. Acres upon acres of forest, beautiful lakes, and a cozy lodge. Here, native species mingle with exotic wild game. A place where a huntress and friends enjoy the thrill of a hunt and fantastic fishing, followed by five-star cuisine. It's all found at the Sanctuary Lodge, and this is Bayou Wild.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Global Outdoors. Find your next adventure and share your experiences with others by downloading the Global Outdoors mobile app or visiting globaloutdoors.com.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
This is Don Dubuque asking you to join me as a member of the Coastal Conservation Association. For 30 years, CCA has worked in Louisiana to conserve our incredible fisheries, making sure that our fishing is great today and for generations to come. Whether looking out for redfish and specks, eliminating gill nets, building reefs across the coast, or work at the state capitol and in D.C., CCA is doing what's best for the fish and the sport we love so much. Your $30 membership will ensure that this work and our great fishing endures well into the future. Go to ccalouisiana.com and join CCA today. Welcome back to Bayou Wild TV, and we hope you'll join us each and every week as we broadcast, telling you about the sportsmanship, the heritage, and the pleasure of getting out and enjoying the wild areas. We're here at the Sanctuary Lodge. The Sanctuary Lodge is located just north of the Louisiana-Mississippi border, 11 miles north of Woodville, Mississippi. The property is nearly 1,000 acres of rolling hills, hardwoods, and a cypress swamp.
Yeah, we're just 7 miles from the Mississippi River. The lodge itself looks over the delta. We're about 180 feet over the delta, and you get some fantastic sunsets. The topography is, in my opinion, second to none here in South Mississippi. Very beautiful terrain.
The highlight of the acreage is the variety of animals that roam its rolling hills.
If you really think about it, a lot of executive and people that work in the corporate world don't have the time to scout and spend time in the woods and work hard to find a deer of a lifetime. And they can achieve that here in a shorter amount of time, and we've done all the legwork for them.
Bayou Wild was given the opportunity to visit the Sanctuary Lodge to share in the adventure. Our own Martha Spencer would be given the chance of a lifetime as an up-and-coming hunter, the chance to harvest a trophy whitetail or elk.
So we're sighting in this 30-06 that we determined was probably the best gun for me to use tomorrow because it's got less of a kick than the 7. But we're at 100 yards right now. We're getting pretty close, so I think we'll have a good shot tomorrow. So we just took the 30-06 out and sighted it in. It's the first time I've been shooting with this gun. We're about 100 yards here, and I think most of these shots are good enough that we're going to be able to get something out on the hunt. First 4 wound up just a little bit wide to the right and down, and then the last 4 came in on the bullseye. There he is. That's a good size. Yep, he's right behind one. He's towards the edge. That's a nice one.
Discover the taste of Louisiana that's seasoned just right. Boiled to perfection. Enriched with tradition. A taste that's savory, crispy, and a little sweet. Discover the taste of Louisiana fish fry products.
Hi, I'm Miss Louisiana Julia Claire Williams on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealer. We're all used to bad weather in Louisiana, and we know the benefits of clean, portable propane gas during those emergencies. But if your propane tank is ever damaged in a storm, you should have it inspected by a certified propane dealer. And if you ever smell gas, turn the system off at the tank and call your dealer immediately. Propane is safe energy for everyone, and we want to keep it that way.
CLG, ready, set, gumbo.
You'll score a touchdown every time you serve Uncle Larry's Ready, Set, Gumbo.
Ask for Uncle Larry's Ready, Set, Gumbo at a store near you.
When I was growing up in my dad's den, he had a ram and a razorback on the wall. And he shot the razorback and my grandfather shot the ram. But I never got to see my dad deer hunt or big game hunt. And I never big game hunted. I was always obsessed with fishing, and that's what we did growing up in the Northeast. But there's so much to offer in the South that it's kind of the next step, I suppose. I think a lot of folks that fish transition into, well, it's cold and it's winter, what can we go after now? And that's kind of where it progressed. But it's a tricky thing because I've sat in a blind for many, many hours and hardly seen anything. And seen squirrels and leaves, and you get frustrated and cold and you want to go. The first day was pretty remarkable. We were all kind of with our jaws dropped because we saw probably 250 animals between elk, whitetail, and fallow deer, and they were everywhere. There's about 15 cows out there, but we still haven't found the bull yet, but he should be close. There he is. That's a good size. Yep, he's right behind one. He's towards the edge. That's a nice one. So when we got out here, we saw 3 spikes, and we all thought they were about 150 yards away. Turned out they were 220. And they looked pretty big, but as soon as we saw whitetails come out, the whitetails look like specks, and you can really see the size of these things. They're really impressive. Nothing we saw the first day was within shootable range, but it was nice to kind of see what was out there and how they coexisted. Our second hunt, we were in a small field. So we didn't have a traditional cold front this week, so there's been a lot of rain. Normally it clears out pretty clean after a front, but the clouds have kept the temperature up a bit. It's about 42, and it's pretty much been staying around the low 40s since we got here. So it's been cold enough for them to move despite the rain. Right now it's dry, but we're probably gonna see more rain later today, so hopefully it stays cold enough that they don't bed down too much. So this little spike fallow deer just pops up out of nowhere, maybe 30 yards away at the farthest, and he comes strutting right up to us. He's not afraid of anything. And he literally knew he was on camera, I think, because he strutted back and forth across, picking his feet up, staring at us. He's still here. I'm talking. I could still throw a rock at him. And he was curious as anything, maybe because he knew he was too small to get shot, because he was prancing in front of us, which was a completely different experience. So that was totally different. And I think if anything came in that field that was shootable, it would have died. And then the third hunt, you know, we were hoping it was going to look like the first day, and we got into the bitter blind, but it was 15 minutes before sunset before anything shootable came out, and that's where I got nervous because I knew I didn't have a lot of time, and that put the pressure on me. So we're back out at the big field we were at last night where we saw all the deer. But this is where we saw the action yesterday, but we were on the other side of all the animals. So now we're in the middle blind. The ultimate goal is we've been fortunate enough to be allowed to take a bull elk, which is a pretty big honor here because only a few have been taken at all. And no pressure. But we saw a few yesterday that came out with the cows, and there was a few really big ones. So if we can't get a shot out on that, we'll go for a good buck if we see it. When we actually saw something to shoot, it was pretty exciting. And 3 bucks came out without any does. They were all probably shootable, comparable size. They were pretty close, I say close, but less than 150 yards when we first saw them, but we wanted to make sure we were getting the right deer. So we called Jeff and made sure which one to go after. When we got a hold of him, it was a little further away, but it was still wide open. There were 3 of them together. I think I could shoot that from here. Oh wait, whoa, he's looking back. Oh, he's good looking. He looks like he could be the one. They moved. And part of the frustration was that I knew I had a way better shot early, but I didn't want to take the wrong one. And when they actually all got out there and we knew which one to take, they were a lot farther away. And they kept presenting different angles, so my gun was moving back and forth between which one, and that took me a solid, probably 7 or 8 minutes, to the point where I think the people in the blind didn't know if I was going to shoot. And I did start to get my heart beating out of my chest. I don't think my hands shook, because I think I was really just moving more to figure out which buck to take, but I could feel my heart pumping out of my chest, which was frustrating. But I suppose that's to be expected. I think I missed.
I don't know.
Oh, look at that one. Look at that one all the way to the left. He's acting funny.
Yeah, he's looking wobbly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone down. Oh, he's gone down now. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I think I was a little far off, maybe an inch or 2 off from what would have been a death shot, but I think I might have hit him in the bone. and that caused him to bounce a little bit. So that made it a little more of a challenge, and I think after that, any extra shots were probably just not good, because I just couldn't collect myself. Wow. It was really hard because they were farther away than I was really ready to shoot. It was really hard to tell how big he was when he was that far away. But once you get next to it, you can really appreciate how healthy they are out here. I wish I could have killed him a little bit faster, but I suppose that's not always the way it goes, and I'm very thankful for it.
Did it, Martha? Oh, look at this guy, huh? What do we got here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8.
We're not gonna count that one?
Nah.
Here we go. Here, 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 and here. And I did the blooding ritual really neat for you. Hey, what you think, guys? Way to go.
Great job, boy.
Bayou Wild coming to CST in 2018. These are just some of the adventures you're going to see.
Now, you may have noticed we put the blood on Martha's face after her first deer kill, and you might be wondering what that's all about. You hear about it all the time. First kills of kids, we put blood on them. It actually is something in an ancient rite that took place many, many years ago. It's called the blooding rite or ritual, which the hunter honors the death of the animal that gave its life so that we may live. It's an interesting story, and you'll find it on my webpage at dontheoutdoorsguide.com. Just look for the blooding rite, what it means. And she knows what it means now.
People hear high fence, sometimes I think they take it a little the wrong way, because I think they think maybe it's a little too easy. But I'll tell you, all the animals we saw here had no idea there was ever a fence.
That's one of the most gratifying parts of owning the high fence property is to see somebody take their first deer and truly experience what it is to be a hunter.
And I don't think there was any difference compared to a wild hunt, except for the fact that there were really healthy deer here. But I don't think it made it any easier, which was pretty nice.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do, from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstance, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the hardest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a nonprofit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference.
Welcome back to Bayou Wild. You just saw Alan take his first buck, and now we're going to learn how to cook it. We're here with Chef John Fulce. He is making Scotch marinated venison tenderloin.
Now, I don't want to confuse anybody and think you can only make this dish with Scotch. I just happen to have a little Macallan 12-year-old, you know what I mean?
Good stuff.
But you can use bourbon. You can certainly use rum. Rum would be really great on this. And you know what? I really like to kind of play around with dishes like that. You normally think of taking a piece of venison and you're going to roast it, or you're going to go ahead and you know, put it on a grill like this tenderloin and grill it real fast. People are going to slice it and pound it out and make cutlets out of it. I like to take all of these game dishes that we have in Louisiana, and how do we bring them up to the dinner table?
Right, present them.
Yeah, how do we, I mean, look, I love camp cooking.
Right.
I love to go to the camp and do the cooking, and I love to do the poppers and everything else. But when I have a nice tenderloin of venison like this, and I'm able to take this and marinate it simply And this isn't difficult work. This is really easy to do.
The hard part was shooting it, and now we can treat it right.
And in Louisiana, that's not even the hard part
Right.
anymore, right? So why don't you put me a little McAllen on this, just a little bit over the top of it. We're just gonna, oh, I tell you what, girl.
You can smell that. My nostrils just opened.
Now we're gonna do a little salt. I'm gonna come right over here, and I'm gonna sprinkle just a little salt on top of it, a little granulated garlic, and of course a little pepper. And that scotch is gonna just kind of let it.
And a lot of the seasoning cooks off of it, so if it looks like too much, it's really not.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, you know, most of the cooks know, especially in liquors, anytime you put heat to alcohol, it's gonna cook off.
Right.
So you don't have to worry. The alcohol becomes the marinade. That's what it's doing. So I would let this sit, obviously, covered with a little clear wrap, for about 4 or 5 hours, or you can do it the night before if you want to in the refrigerator. Now you can see what I have here, right? It's a nice hot skillet, and that's important because when you put liquid or like in this particular case, scotch, the meat is wet, so you want to go into a hot skillet. You wouldn't put this in an oven. It would just kind of sit there and just kind of be white in the skillet, right? So now I want that very high heat to kind of get that seared nicely on one side.
Keeps the flavors inside of it.
Well, it sears it in. And of course, that scotch is now cooking off right into the steam.
Getting a contact buzz here.
I bet you are. Again, scotch is really good. Red wine is good. Rum is good. All of those flavors. So by searing in the outside of that meat over high heat, that's why I had the smoke in the skillet, I can turn this over, and you can see how brown that is already.
Lock it in.
Take a look at that.
Looks delicious.
Yeah. Now I would take all of these onion, celery, bell pepper, just go ahead and surround it. Again, y'all, this is a classic vegetable to Louisiana, but you can use, cut them any shape you want. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in like this and just kind of let that sear a minute, even just a little touch of that garlic, not too much, and a little bit herb, a little garlic on each side. Now, y'all, what I would do with this is kind of let this cook with the vegetables in the skillet. I could put just a little touch of moisture in here, just a little bit more of this oil.
And you can't smell this at home, but I'm telling you, it is aromatic.
It's pretty incredible. And then what I would do now, Martha, is I would go into a 350-degree oven, and I would just go ahead and sear, continue to let this seared venison cook or roast in the oven at 350. I'd put a thermometer in it. You do not want this over 135.
So a cast iron skillet would be good because it's something you can put in your oven?
Absolutely, right into the oven. So we would let this go into the oven, let it cook to that 135.
And now we're going to make its sauce.
Make the sauce, yeah. This is the drippings and peppers. So I'm going to take this off the fire. I add a little bit more. And then I can flame that just like that. Huh?
Stand back and don't use hairspray.
We're really cooking here. Now I want to put about a half a cup of that red wine in. A little bit more maybe. And again, y'all, this is the scotch, the McAllen went in and flamed up because that picked all of the flavor of the venison off the bottom of the skillet, right? Now
almost a caramelizing.
Yeah,
here.
now you see how this is pulling all those sugars from the vegetables? Look how nice and thick that is. Now I'll add just a little bit. We took the bones of the deer. Now, of course, you can use a beef stock.
You make your own broth?
Absolutely. So we just take the bones, the leg bones of the deer, and we roast them off and get them nice and brown, and we create this really nice brown stock. Take a look at how pretty that stock is.
If your mouth is not watering right now, something might be wrong with you.
So now this is all done, and we would let this reduce. I'd season it just for a little pinch of salt, and that scotch is all cooked out. And of course, you want to put your finger in there and taste that, huh?
And folks, if they don't like it medium rare, you suggest it to be medium rare, but they can cook it more if they like.
Yeah, 135, but y'all, if you want to cook it to 145, more well done. A lot of people hadn't gotten to the point where on game that they want to eat it a little bit rare. That's fine. The rarer you cook it, obviously, the better it's going to be. Okay?
And does any of the alcohol that's cooked in it take some of the gaminess out as well?
Well, it's certainly on tenderloin. When we talk about tenderloin, it's the best piece of meat on any animal, right? So it's going to, because of its tenderness, in the process that we did a little while ago, the marinating, and then, of course, the roasting, all of those flavors are going to permeate that meat. And then, of course, with my finished little sauce right here I'm going to put on it, I'm going to just kind of drizzle a little bit across the top of it. It's going to continue to add heat to that meat. Take a look at that.
All right, we are finished with this beautiful venison. I am so hungry, ready to eat this, and we'll be right back.
Beautiful, beautiful. Came out really nice.
Delta Marina is Plaquemines Parish fishing one-stop. Get live bait, fuel, ice, tackle, and marine supplies. Then launch into the world's most productive saltwater fishing. Return to the fishing cleaning station, relax in first-class cabins overlooking the bayou, all in Delta Marina's safety video-monitored parking lot. Need a fishing charter guide? Delta Marina can hook you up. Cook your catch in your kitchenette or dine in the upstairs restaurant. Visit Delta Marina for a day or a week. Stop in just off Highway 11 down Rosemary Drive in Empire. Visit thedeltamarina.com.
At Parish Coffee, we wanted to create a coffee brand that people would love to drink every day. Our medium roasts are nice, bright, nutty coffees. Our dark roast coffees are smooth and rich. I think it's important for consumers to recognize that sometimes it's your neighbor that you're supporting. People can go to parishcoffee.com to find the entire selection of coffees.
One of the reasons why Double D has been around for 50 years is because we are consistent with what built the business. And we go to great lengths to make sure that when you bring a deer or a hog or whatever it may be, your meat stays your meat all the way through the process. But we want to be as true to the original intent, which is a local meat company. And that's something that we want to maintain for as long as the Lord lets us do it.
Thanks for joining us for our original episode of Bayou Wild. We are in the hundreds now, and we are premiering a new season starting in early February.
We have a lot of fun out here at Southside Cafe. We come twice each month on Mondays. Check out our Facebook page, see what days we're here, or give them a call over here at Southside and come by and talk a little hunting and fishing and enjoy a really good meal.
We've also got some new merchandise that'll be premiering soon, and you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Plenty of ways to catch up with everything Bayou Wild.
You're watching Bayou Wild TV, award-winning outdoor programming. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or visit the website BayouWildTV.com to watch past episodes.